name is Kristen. Thank you for joining me for today's yoga practice. Today's flow is going to center around our root chakra, which is associated with the color red, and it's located at the base of our tailbone. This chakra helps us feel grounded and secure. So please join me in a comfortable seated position at the front of your mat. If you'd like to have any props today, I strongly encourage the use of yoga blocks. I will be using them for most of the practice today. This is going to be an hour-long, gentle flow, great for beginners. So as we start to sit at the front of our mat, we're going to really start to ground down through our sit bones. Maybe you remove the flesh from your seat, really helping you anchor into your mat. We're going to go ahead and start with a mudra that's associated with the root chakra. It's a hand gesture, an energetic seal. So we're going to take our thumb and our pointer finger, we're going to make a circle on both hands. Our three other fingers are going to be pointed out, and our hands are going to gently rest on our knees. You can choose to soften your gaze or close your eyes and just start to settle into your breath, breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. This is the breath that's going to move you through today's yoga practice. Remember to listen to your body today. At any time, you can stop, take a drink of water, come to any resting pose of your choosing. You can stand in a mountain pose, sink into a child's pose, or even lay in shavasana. You can make any adjustments that you need, wider stances, anything that helps you feel more comfortable. If you'd like to set an intention for today's class, now is a perfect time to do so. Let's bring the awareness to our breath, inhaling through our nose, exhaling through our nose. Maybe you inhale for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for a count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for a count of 5. Exhale for a count of 6. Anytime your mind starts to wander today, bring it back to this breath. We're going to really focus on making that mind, body, movement, breath connection. On your next inhale, we're going to flutter our eyes open. We're going to raise our arms up, relaxing your shoulders away from your ears like there's a ball between your two palms. Gaze comes up. And then on your exhale, bring your right hand down beside you to the mat and reach your left arm up and over. So your left ear is by your biceps and your hips are planted firmly into the ground. So you're not peeling that left hip up. Just breathing here. We're going to take about 3 breaths into this side stretch. Really elongating through the left side, down our arm, down our ribs. Feel that energy radiating. We're going to inhale, come up. Right arm meets the left. Gaze up, hug that ball. Exhale, left arm comes down as your right hand reaches up and over. Remember, don't let that right hip peel off your mat. Right ear by your right bicep. Breathing into it right here. We're going to come up, inhale, arms up, gaze up. Now we're going to just do a little bit of flow. So 1 breath, 1 movement. Right arm comes down on the exhale, left arm up and over. Inhale, come up, exhale. exhale, left hand, right arm up and over. We're going to do this about 4 times on each side. If you have any sticky spots and you'd like to breathe into them a little bit longer, that's okay. Remember, this is your practice. I'm just here to guide you. Listen to what your body is calling for. Now from here, hang out on this left side with your right arm reaching up and over. Maybe we start to kind of forward fold and sweep our right arm out in front of us. Then our left arm follows, planting our right hand, and our left arm comes up and over, bringing that bicep by your ear. And go ahead and sweep from the left to the right this time. Taking some seated half circles here. Really just getting our body warmed up, stretching into our sides, stretching our hips. One more time on each side. Excuse my cough, I'm getting over bronchitis. Keeping it real here. And we're going to come back up, arms up, gaze up, squeeze that ball. And we're going to bring our hands to heart center. Take one full round of breath right here. And then for our next breath, we're going to bring our right hand to the top of our head. And we're just going to gently guide our right ear to our right shoulder. Don't put too much tension here. Left hand comes out alongside of us on the mat. Nice little gentle stretch in the left side of our neck. 3 breaths in this position. And then we're going to go ahead and release. Bringing our left hand to the top of our head, and we're going to stretch. Bringing our left ear to our left shoulder. Right hand comes out alongside of us. And then we're going to go ahead and release here. Next, we're going to inhale our arms up. Gaze comes up. Now cactus your arms like field goal post right here, wrapping our shoulder blades around our spine, pushing our heart through. Then we're going to close our arms, keeping this 90-degree angle, bringing our arms closer together, so we're like squeezing that ball again. Then take your right arm, thread it through your left, hooking your elbows together, and just do a nice gentle stretch here for your shoulder. Breathing into it, 3 breaths. And then come back to those 90-degree arms, and let's hook the left arm through the right. Elbows connect, and stretch our left shoulder. We're going to go ahead and release, bringing both of our arms back up, gaze up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. And then from here, we're going to make our way into a tabletop position. So we're going to plant our hands directly underneath our shoulders and our knees directly underneath our hips. The crown of our head is shooting out in front of us. Our gaze is a few inches above our fingertips. Our spine is flat. We have that slight arch in our lower back, which is perfectly fine. As we inhale, we're going to drop our belly, lift our gaze up, pushing our heart through our shoulders, and then exhale, tipping your pelvis forward, rounding your back like a cat, bringing your gaze between your between your knees, looking back through your toes. Inhale to that cow position, dropping your navel to the mat. Gaze up. Exhale to your scared cat. Go ahead and take a few rounds of breath right here. Inhaling and exhaling. If you'd like to take any fluid movements You may do so. Maybe you take some hip circles. Maybe you look side to side. Whatever your body's calling for. Go ahead and take one more round of cat-cow. And then we'll meet back in that neutral spine tabletop position. From here, we're going to tuck our toes and shoot our hips up to the sky, reaching our heels towards the mat. It's okay if they don't touch. You can keep a slight bend in your knee, and your ears are hugging your biceps, or your biceps are hugging your ears. And we are in our first down dog. You can choose to find stillness here, or you can start to pedal your dog, bending your right knee, straightening your left, and then bending your left and straightening your right. Now wherever you are, we're going to find stillness in that down dog position. Take a full cycle of breath here, inhaling and exhaling. And then we're going to walk our hands back to meet our feet. And we're going to roll up slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Head, neck, shoulders last to come up. Our palms are going to be facing out in front of us. Our shoulders are relaxed and away from our ears. Our feet are firmly planted into the mat. Our knees are pulling up towards our thighs. Tadasana, this is your mountain pose. Bringing the awareness back to our breath. Inhale here, arms up, gaze up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, forward fold. Hands come to the mat or inhale, come to a half lift, elongating your spine, shooting the crown of your head out in front of you. Exhale, forward fold, plant your hands. Now walk your hands to the front of the mat so you're in your plank position. Drop to your knees, untuck your toes, lower your chest and your chin, hugging your elbows in towards the side. Once you get all the way down, keep your hands planted firmly underneath your shoulders and lift up to your cobra pose. Exhale, fold. Tuck your toes, come to your knees, to your tabletop. Sink your hips back into a child's pose. Your knees can stay together or you can bring them to the edges of your mat. Really sinking your hips out, stretching your fingertips to the front of the mat, hips towards the back, towards your heels, elongating your spine, forehead is connected to the mat. Taking 3 rounds of breath right here. On your next breath, we're going to come back up into that tabletop. Tuck your toes, shoot your hips up. You're in your down dog. Right leg rises, 3-legged dog, keeping your hips parallel to the mat. Inhale, right knee comes to your nose and plants between your hands. It's okay if you need to take a few steps to get there. Drop your left knee to the mat, untuck your toes. Great place for your blocks underneath your hands, bringing the mat closer to you. Inhale, gaze is forward. Head, neck, spine are in alignment. Our heart is pushing through our shoulders. I'm going to breathe here, 3 breaths. On your next breath, we're going to shoot our hips back as we start to straighten our right leg. You can walk your hands back a little bit. Heel stays connected to the mat. Your toes are pointed up. Right heel or hip is pulling back as your left hip is pushing forward. And we are in our half split position. Taking 3 breaths. And hands back to frame our foot. Hands come to your mat, tuck your left toes, shoot your right foot back, and plant it next to your left in your down dog. Left foot rises, left knee to nose. Plant your left foot between your hands, drop your right knee, untuck your toes. Keep your hands on the mat or bring them to blocks. Push your heart through, head, neck, spine are in alignment. Your left knee is over your left ankle. Your right thigh is tracking down towards the mat. On your next breath, we're going to shoot our hips back, straightening our left leg. It's okay if you keep a bend. Heel stays on the mat, toes pointed up. Left hip pulls back as your right hip pushes forward. Keeping your spine elongated. Gaze is just a few inches past your front toe. Inhale, framing your front foot with your hands again, coming back into this low lunge. Hands plant on the mat, tuck your right toe, step your left foot back, you're in your down dog. Drop to your knees and sink into your child's pose. Inhale, come back up, tuck your toes, shoot your hips up, down dog, right leg rises, right knee to nose, plant your right foot between your hands, drop your left knee, untuck those toes, push your heart through. You have the option to stay right here, bring your hands to blocks, or inhale, your arms up, shoulders are away from your ears, right knee is over your right ankle, left thigh is tracking towards the mat. Taking 3 breaths here, Anjanasana, low lunge. On your next breath, we're going to bring our hands to heart center and we're going to twist to the right. Left elbow hooks outside our right knee. Our hands are in prayer at heart center. Right elbow is pointed up towards the sky, right shoulders tracking over left, and our gaze is right over the top of our hands. Inhale, come back to center. Frame your right foot. Tuck your left toe, step your right foot back, down dog. Inhale, left foot rises. Left knee to nose. Plant your left foot between your hands. Drop your right knee, untuck your toes. Left knee over left ankle. Right thigh tracking down. Remember, your hands can stay here or to blocks, or you can inhale, bring your arms up. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Anjanasana. 3 full rounds of breath. Hands to heart center, and we're going to twist to the left this time. Right elbow hooks outside our left knee. Left shoulder tracking over right. Left elbow is pointing up towards the sky. Hands are in prayer at heart center. Really twisting from our spine here. Inhale, back to center. Hands frame your left foot, tuck your right toes, step your left foot back, down dog. Drop to your knees, untuck your toes, child's pose, sinking your hips back. Hands reach out in front of you. Inhale, we're going to come up, push our heart through so our shoulders are over our wrists, and then we're going to sink right down to the mat. We're going to slide the palms of our hands out so we come to our forearms, and we're going to just start to come up into the Sphinx pose so our back has a nice little arch here. Heart is pushing through our shoulders. Hands are planted firmly on the ground. Take a few breaths right here. And then we're going gonna go ahead, bring our hands underneath our shoulders, push up into our tabletop. So tuck your toes, come to your knees, shoot up into your down dog, walk your hands and feet to meet at the middle of the mat. Now really ground down between all 10 toes, all 4 corners of your feet. Inhale, root to rise. Arms up, gaze up, tilt your pelvis forward. Hands come to heart center. Mountain pose, hands by your side. Shoulders are relaxed away from your ears. Knees are pulled up to your thighs. Taking 3 breaths here. Now from here, we're going to come into our warrior one. So we're going to step our right foot about 4 feet in front of our left foot. And our left foot, we're going to turn to a 45-degree angle. So you can kind of take a little bit of a wider stance here. Not train tracks, but your right foot is close to the right side of the mat. Left toes are pointing up to the left corner, and our hips are shooting to that left front corner of the mat. We're going to sink into our right knee, come into a 90-degree angle here. Our right knee is over our ankle. Inhale, arms come up, shoulders away from your ears. You always have the option to be right here, or you can bring your hands to heart center. We are in our warrior one position. We're going to take 3 breaths right here. Now from here, we're going to cactus our arms. On our exhale, cactus your arms. Shoulders wrap around your spine like you're hugging a pencil. Inhale, arms come back up. Exhale, cactus your arms. 2 more times. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, cactus. 1 more time. Inhale, arms up. Now from here, we're going to step our left foot to meet our right. We're going to sink into chair. Arms come up, really sitting our tailbone back. Knees are above our ankles. Remember, you can always take your hands to heart center. And from here, root to rise. We're going to take warrior one on the other side. So our left foot is going to stay right here at the top of our mat, and we're going to step our right foot about 4 feet back, turning that right foot at that 45-degree angle, sinking into our left knee, that is above our ankle. Inhale, arms come up, and take 3 full rounds of breath here in warrior one. On your next inhale, breathe in, and on your exhale, cactus your arms. And we're going to do this 3 times. Inhaling, arms come up. Exhale, cactus your arms. 2 more times on your own. Arms come up. Warrior one. Step our right foot to meet our left. Chair position. Knees are over our ankles. Hips are shooting back. Inhale, root to rise. Tadasana, mountain pose. Palms facing forward. Knees pulling up towards our thighs. Taking 3 breaths here. On your next breath, we're going to step our left foot back 4 feet behind us at that 45-degree angle, making our way into our warrior one position. So bending into that right knee, arms come up. On your exhale, wrap your arms behind you, holding your hands, pushing your heart through your shoulders. You have the option to stay here, or you can go ahead and forward fold into a humble warrior, where your right shoulder comes in between your between your right knee. The crown of your head is shooting down towards your mat. Really planting your feet into the mat, pushing through the arches. 2 more rounds of breath right here. Inhale, come up. As we exhale, we're going to open up to a warrior 2. So we're going to keep our back foot at that 45-degree angle, and we're going to open our right hand to the front of the room, left hand to the back of the room, sinking into our right knee right here. Gaze is over our right fingertips. Shoulders are above our hips. Warrior 2. Now we're going to straighten our right foot. Turn your toes to the left side of the room. You're in your 5-pointed star. From here, we're going to push our heels together, our toes pointed out, and then we're going to sink into a goddess. So we're going to start bending our knees. Our tailbone tracks down towards the mat. Our hands, arms are cactus, pushing the wall out in front of us, or to the sides. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, come back up to your 5-pointed star. This time turn your toes in and your heels out. Hands come to heart center. And go ahead and take a wide-legged forward fold. Your hands can come to the mat, to blocks. You can grab your calves, your ankles, your toes. And take 3 breaths right here. Inhale, come back up. And we're going to turn our right toes to the front of the mat again, sinking into our warrior 2. And then we're going to windmill our hands down to frame our right foot. Come to the ball of your left foot. Step your right foot back to meet your left. You're in your plank position. Drop to your knees, untuck your toes, lower your chest and your chin, and then push up into cobra. Exhale, forward fold. Come to your tabletop before you go to your down dog. And then walk your hands to meet your feet at the back of the mat. Inhale, root to rise. Come into your mountain pose. Now from here, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to step our left foot about 4 feet in front of our right, keeping your right foot at the 45-degree angle, sinking in to your left leg. Inhale, arms come up, warrior 1. Exhale, reach your arms behind you. Grab your hands, push your heart through your shoulders. Option to stay here, or option to fold, humble warrior. Right shoulder inside your left, or left shoulder inside your left knee. Crown of your head pointing down. Really grounding down into all 4 corners of each foot. 2 more breaths right here. Inhale, come back up, release that grip. Arms come up into your warrior 1. Now we're going to exhale into warrior 2. So we're going to keep our back foot at the 45-degree angle, and we're just opening our arms here, bringing our shoulders in line with our hips this time. Gaze is over our left fingertips. Right arm is pulling back. Beautiful job, warrior 2. Now straighten your front foot, come to your heel. Now bring your toes to the right side of the room this time. Heels together, toes out. You're in your 5-pointed star. We're going to sink into goddess. So really tracking that tailbone down towards the sky, or down towards the ground. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, cactus arms. Palms are facing out, pushing the walls away from you. Two more breaths right here. Inhale, come back up. 5-pointed star. Now we're going to turn so we come back into that warrior 2. So our back foot goes back to that 45-degree angle. Our sinking into our left knee. Gaze is above our left fingertips. Now from here, we're going to come to the ball of our back foot. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, frame your foot. Step your left foot to meet your right. You're in your plank. Drop your knees, untuck your toes. Lower your chest and your chin towards the mat. And then push up into your cobra. And then forward fold, or I'm sorry, exhale, release back down to the mat. Tuck your toes, come up to your tabletop, then to your down dog. And we're gonna walk our feet and our hands to meet the middle of the mat. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, mountain pose. Now from here, we're gonna just take a moment and we're gonna sink down into a malasana squat. So we're gonna bring our feet to the outside edges of our mat. Heels are pointed in, toes are pointed out. Hands come to heart center. We're just gonna take our time, bending into our knees, slowly sinking down into the squat. You can always sit on one block or two. Okay, do what works for you. Hands are at heart center. Our elbows are pushing into our knees. We're just taking a moment here to breathe. Inhale, root to rise. And then we're gonna bring our feet back underneath our hips. We're gonna step our right foot forward, our left foot back, so our feet are about 3 feet apart, keeping your left foot at a 45-degree angle. And we're gonna keep our right leg straight, but careful not to lock out your knee. Inhale, arm come up. Exhale, forward fold. So we're really bending at the hips here, elongating our spine. Crown of our head is shooting out in front of us. When our shoulders almost get to alignment with our hips, we're gonna drop our hands to the floor or the mat. Careful not to round into your back. Your gaze is about 6 inches in front of your toes. Really elongating through the spine here, and then fold. If you can bring your head towards your knee, that's great. Really do what works for you here. And we're gonna inhale and come up. Hands come to heart center. Now sink into your warrior one. Maybe you have to put your back foot back just a little bit more. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, forward fold. Frame your foot with your hands, but bring your hands to blocks right here. So we have a bend in our right knee. Our left toes are starting to get light. We're coming to the ball of our left foot, and we're gonna start to shift our weight to our right foot, coming into a standing L. You can move your blocks so they're underneath your shoulders, about 6 inches in front of your foot. Your left foot rises, heel towards the sky, toes towards the ground, like you're making an imprint on the wall behind you. Standing out, taking one more round of breath right here. And then your left foot is gonna plant next to your right, and you're gonna sink into your chair position. Inhale, push up, root to rise. Exhale, mountain pose. If I didn't make this video now, it would have never got made, so thank you for dealing with the coughing. Now from here, we're gonna work our way into that malasana squat again. So feet come to the outside edges of our mat, heels together, toes out, hands come to heart center, and we're gonna start to sink down. Remember, you can always come to 1 or 2 blocks if you need to. Elbows pushing against your knees. One more round of breath right here. Inhale, go ahead and root to rise, bringing our feet back underneath our hips, and we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So our left foot is gonna stay forward, and we're gonna bring our right foot about 3 feet back, keeping our right foot at a 45-degree angle. Our left leg is straight, but our knee is not locked out. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Keeping that back flat, elongating the spine, shooting the crown of your head out in front of you. And then when your shoulders get in line with your hips, that's when we're gonna bend towards the ground, bringing our hands to blocks or to the mat. Really sinking in here, keeping that spine elongated. Not rounding our shoulders. Beautiful job. One more breath. And then we're going to inhale, come up. Maybe we push that back foot out just another foot or so. Sink into our warrior one. Shoulders are away from our ears. 90-degree angle in that left leg. Then from here, we're going to start to hinge at the hips, bringing our hands to the mat or to blocks about 6 inches in front of our toes. Start to shift your weight to your left leg, coming to the ball of your right toes, pushing off your right foot. So now your right leg has risen. Heel towards the sky, toes towards the ground. Hips are square. Hands are on blocks or the mat. You're standing out. Beautiful job. Take 2 more full rounds of breath right here. And then your right foot meets your left. Sink into your chair. Inhale, root to rise. Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, arms up, gaze up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, elongate your spine. Exhale, forward fold, plant your hands, walk your left foot back, then your right. You're in your plank position. Drop to your knees, untuck your toes, lower your chest and your chin, hugging your elbows in. Once you get all the way down, plant your hands under your shoulders, push up into your cobra. And then go ahead, exhale. Tuck your toes, come to your table, then to your down dog. Hands and feet meet at the middle of your mat. Inhale, root to rise. From here, we're going to work on a few balancing postures. We're going to come into our tree position. So we're going to really ground down into our right foot. Push into your arch so your foot is planted firmly into the ground. Then we're going to come to the balls of our left foot. You can put your left foot on top of your right as your left knee points out to the left side. Or you can bring your foot to your calf or up to your thigh. Whatever works for you. Hands can be at heart center. You can grow your branches up to the sky. You can sway your branches. If you stumble or fall, it's okay. Come right back to it. Maybe you change your gaze. Maybe you change your leg position. One more round of breath right here. And then plant your left foot next to your right. Awesome job. Inhale, arms come up, gaze up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And then down to mountain pose, Tadasana. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So from here, we're going to come to the ball of our right foot. And remember, we can cross our right foot over our left and we can stay right here. Or we can bring our right foot to our left calf or come all the way up. The best yogi in the room isn't the one with the perfect balance. The best yogi in the room isn't the strongest. The best yogis in the room are the ones who are using their breath to move, making that mind, breath, movement, connection. Hands back to heart center. Wherever you are, we're going to make our way out of tree. So our right foot is going to plant next to our left. Inhale, arms up, gaze up. Exhale, hands to heart center, then down by our sides. Tadasana, mountain pose. We're going to take a moment here to do a little bit of a flow. This is going to really give you the opportunity to connect your breath with your movement. One breath, one movement. So we've already done warrior one, we've done a standing L, we've done pyramid, and we've done a tree pose. So I'm going to walk you through it on the right side, and then I'm going to give you a moment to play. So we're going to step our right foot forward, toes pointing towards the front of our mat. Left foot comes about 4 feet back, 45-degree angle. Bending into your right knee. Inhale, arms come up, warrior one. Exhale, straighten your right leg, don't lock out your knee. It's okay if you step your back foot, put a foot forward. Exhale, pyramid pose. From pyramid, we're gonna push off our left foot to our right, balancing on our right foot, coming into our standing L. From standing L, we're going to come up into our tree. And from tree, we're gonna step back into our warrior one. I'm gonna do it one more time with you, and then you're gonna do it 2 times on your own on this side. Warrior one, straighten your leg, pyramid pose, standing L, tree, warrior one. 2 more times on your own. 1 breath, 1 movement. We're all going to meet back in warrior one. Step your left foot to meet your right, root to rise. And then we're going to do the same thing on the left side. So we're going to go through that 4 times. So our left foot plants firmly in the mat as we step our right foot about 4 feet back at a 45-degree angle. Inhale, arms up, sink into your left knee. Warrior one. Straighten your left leg, hinge at your hips, coming into your pyramid, into your standing L, into your tree pose. Back to your warrior one. 3 more times on your own. 1 breath, 1 movement. Release any judgments you have about one side of your body compared to the other. Release any judgments you have about your balance. You showed up today, and that's wonderful. 1 more time. We all meet back in warrior one. Step our right foot to meet our left. You're in your chair. Inhale, root to rise. Mountain pose, Tadasana. Gotta love it. Inhale, hands to heart center. We're gonna come down to 1 more Malasana squat. So our feet come to the outside edges of our mat. Our heels are together, our toes are out. And we're gonna go ahead and sink down right here into our Malasana squat, taking 3 breaths right here. And then from here, we're gonna plant our hands and we're gonna shoot our hips up. Heel, toe our feet, so they're underneath our hips. Half lift, elongate your spine. Exhale, forward fold, walk your right foot back and then your left. Drop to your knees, untuck your toes. Last time, bring your chest and your chin towards the mat. Inhale up to your cobra. Exhale, back down to the mat. Tuck your toes, come to your knees first. Then shoot up into your down dog. Right leg rises. Right knee comes to your right elbow, down towards the mat as you kick your left or your right ankle towards your left wrist. And you're gonna sink down into your pigeon pose. So your hands are planted firmly underneath your shoulders. You can take a block and stick it underneath your right hip. We're going to take 3 breaths like this before we sink in. So inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your nose. Now you can choose to stay right here, that's totally fine. Or you can start to sink down to a block or the mat, whatever works for you. You can connect your forehead to the mat, your hands can come out in front of you. We're going to take 3 breaths like this. And then we're going to bring our hands back underneath our shoulders. We're going to remove the block from our right hip. Tuck your left toes, shoot your hips up, bring your right foot to meet your left. You're in your down dog. Left leg rises. Left knee to left elbow. Plant it down on the mat and kick your left ankle towards your right wrist and sink down into your pigeon pose. Remember, you can always take this block and put it under your left hip. Hands are planted, heart is pushing through. Elongate your spine. Head, neck, shoulders are all in alignment. Head, neck, spine are in alignment. Shoulders are strong and soft away from your ears. On your next breath, you're going to go ahead and start to sink down. Remember, you can always come to a block, whatever works for you. Taking 3 breaths here. On your next breath, you're going to bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. You're going to remove the block from your left hip. And here we're going to sink down onto our left hip and bring our right leg out in front of us. And we're going to come to a seated tree position. So our left foot is kissing our right thigh and our right foot is straight out in front of us. We're going to inhale our arms up, just twist slightly so you're over your right leg. And then we're going to go ahead and fold, keeping your spine elongated, crown of your head shooting up. Okay, it's okay if you bend your right knee a little bit. You don't have to reach your toes. You can always bring your hands to calf or thigh. Just doing a nice gentle stretch right here. So let's take 2 more breaths. And we're going to go ahead and come back up. Shoulders are over our hips. We're going to take our right foot to meet our left. We're in this butterfly position right here. And just take a few breaths right here. So really elongate through your spine. Crown of your head is shooting up. We're not hunched over. All right. Lovely. And then your next breath, we're going to keep our right foot right where it is, and we're going to elongate our left leg. So our right foot kisses that left thigh. Our left foot is straight out in front of us. Heel to the mat, toes to the sky. Inhale, arms up. Turn just a little so you're over your left leg. And on your exhale, go ahead and fold. Remember, we're not rounding into our back here. It's okay to have a bend in your left knee. Your hands can come to your calves, to your ankles, to your toes, wherever you would like. Let's take 2 more breaths right here. Inhale. Come on up. And we're going to bring our left foot to meet our right again. So we're coming position. Okay, let's be mindful of how we're sitting. Really root down to your sit bones. Crown of your head is reaching up, straight line from your head all the way down to your tailbone. Really grounding down into the mat here, connecting back to our breath. 2 more breaths like this. And then from here, we're gonna plant our feet on our mat. Our knees are gonna be pointed up towards the sky, and we're gonna make our way into a boat pose. So we're gonna take our hands, and you can hug your thighs, so putting them underneath your legs here. Our shoulders are in line with our hips. Now we're going to start to lean back. As we lean back, we don't wanna round into our shoulders. So keep your heart pushing through your shoulders, and your shoulders are still in line with your hips. You can see your hips are moving back with you. Now from here, maybe you take one leg off the mat, point your toes forward. Maybe you take your second leg off the mat. You can stay just like this. If you need to keep one foot down, that's completely fine. Maybe you release your hands from your thighs and you bring your hands out in front of you, palms facing up. Take 2 breaths like this. Make sure you're breathing. And then we're gonna hug it all in. So you can bring your hands back under your thighs, plant your feet back on your mat. We're gonna do this 2 more times. So if you're familiar with boat pose and you wanna just go right into it, go ahead. You don't need me to guide you. You've got this. 3 breaths in that position. If you need to follow along, let's go ahead and lean back. Lift one leg off the mat and then the next. Or just practice toe tapping here. One more breath. Feet plant, knees up. We're gonna do one more boat. I'm not gonna breathe for you. We're gonna take 3 breaths. So however it looks for you, let's go right into it. And then we're gonna hug everything in. Let's go ahead and hug our knees towards our chest into a little ball. And then let's go ahead and roll back, coming down to our mat, keeping our knees hugged in. Give yourself a hug. You've done a great job today. Now let's go ahead and plant our feet on our mat, bringing our arms to a T, and just start to windshield wiper your legs. So your knees go to your right, then your left. Let's take 2 more breaths, right to left. On your next breath, drop your knees to the right side and bring your gaze to the left. We're going to take 3 breaths in this position. Inhale, knees come up, feet plant. Exhale, knees drop to the left. This time, gaze drops to the right. Knees come back. From here, we're going to make our way into a supported bridge. So we're going to have our feet planted firmly on the ground. Our knees are pointed up towards the sky. We're going to walk our heels towards our sit bones as close as we can. If you have a block nearby, I want you to grab it. And we're going to start to really push down into our feet and shoot our hips up. And as you shoot your hips up, go ahead and put that block right underneath your back. So it's in between your hips and your low back. And we're just going to sit here for a moment. We're going to take 3 breaths in this supported bridge. So while you're here, you're really hugging your knees together, engaging your thighs. Your shoulders are underneath your body. Hands are planted firmly on the mat. And you've got the support of the block to help you, to hold you, to make you feel safe and secure. Take 1 more breath here. And then we're going to shoot our hips up just a little bit more. Push the block out. Go ahead and lower down to your mat. If you have any last minute postures or poses you'd like to take, go ahead and do so now. Or let's meet in Shavasana. If you're coming straight to a Shavasana pose, you're going to straighten your legs onto the mat. Really sink down. Make that connection. Head, shoulders, arms, hips, thighs, heels. You can start to close down your eyes here and just breathe. If you've taken any final postures or positions, let's go ahead and come out of that and meet us into Shavasana. We're going to be here for a few minutes, so when it's time, I'll call you back. Let's start to bring the awareness back to our bodies. Maybe you wiggle your toes and roll your ankles. Wiggle your fingers and roll your wrists. Maybe you start to move your legs a little. Take one big inhale, and on your exhale, roll to whatever side feels comfortable for you. Take a moment here to pause. Honor yourself, honor your practice, and then when you're ready, go ahead and sit up, and I'll meet you at the front of our mats in a comfortable seated position. I want to thank you for joining me for today's practice. Whether you started your day with me or ended your day with me, or maybe you met me in the middle of your day, thank you. May you think only happy thoughts. May you speak only kind words, and may your hearts be filled with love. I hope you have a beautiful day. Namaste.